I love seeing new places. The world is a beautiful place. It really is. On our trip to Maine, we stayed in a place called Ellsworth, Maine. It's just outside of the national park over there, which is called, I know what it's called. You know what it's called. It's Acadia National Park. My favorite part of Acadia National Park was going to the Precipice Trail hike. Boy, I made a short video about some of the things to do there, but I didn't in that video capture the emotion of this hike because man, was it terrifying. We get there, the first thing is we come across, they do this on purpose. You come across this rock that you have to scale using like 2 bars, or maybe there's only 1 bar. I got some video of it, but anyway, it's like rock climbing, and it's like one of the first things you got to do. I would say for sure it was the hardest part of the hike, and I think it's good because it deters people who maybe can't get over that with the same gusto that they thought they would to get up into the high part where it's scarier, easier but scarier. I mean, if you're afraid of heights like me, terrifying. But anyway, so once we got over that first little part, then we started getting higher and higher, and it just gets a sheer drop off, and there's nothing between you and the fall besides this little iron bar that's just like drilled into the mountainside. Oftentimes there's ladders. There were ladders, different things you had to climb across and scale upwards, sideways, and it really was a precipice. Define precipice. A steep, precipitous cliff, an edge. I don't know. You know what I mean. Very thrilling, very scared. I didn't want to do it, but I knew that I had to, because that's what made a good story. And those are the kind of things that when you go on a trip, you gotta have a good story, right? Anyway, we got to the top. It was amazing. It was beautiful, but it was terrifying. And you go down from the hike off the back of the mountain, which was much nicer. All in all, it took I think a couple hours or so. Beautiful views, but yeah, I definitely recommend that. Like the other things in Acadia National Park were fun. You got to see some cool scenery, you got to see some birds, the ocean, that's great. But that hike is a must do. Okay, so in Ellsworth, we got some homemade ice cream. That was great. We went grocery shopping and just kind of ate. We tried to eat cheap for breakfast and lunch, and then we ate out for dinners. It's part of our travel hacking to make it a little bit more affordable. Anyway, about an hour or so from Ellsworth, yeah, it wasn't super far. You go up northeast and you get to a place called, it's by Lubec, West Quoddy Head Lighthouse. It's a peninsula on the farthest most eastern point of the contiguous United States. And now that I say that out loud, I don't think you need to add contiguous, because there's really nothing farther than it, even non-contiguous, as far as east is concerned. So anyway, it's great. You get up there and there's this beautiful, iconic red and white striped lighthouse in which I am drawing. It's just cool to see. It's cool to say you've been at the westernmost point of the United States. Other than that, like, it's not amazing, but it's cool. And maybe I shouldn't undercut it, because we didn't even get to go inside the visitor center. It was closed, but that definitely would have added to the experience. All in all, it was great. I loved going to see it. And actually, my favorite part about going over there to West Quoddy Head Lighthouse was there was a little trail, and on that trail, it was a nice trail. It kind of felt like a Narnia trail, or what else? Fablehaven. I got Fablehaven vibes. I don't know if you ever read that book, but just because of the vibe, but adding to that vibe was these little subtly decorated, what I called fairy houses, on the sides of this trail. Like somebody put up little decorations, little leaves and pebbles that formed a path, and like maybe there was a feather and like a little hut, a teeny tiny shack made out of sticks and leaves. I would dare say you could easily miss them, but I saw it and wasn't looking for it. So, they're around, but I saw a handful of these. I didn't take a picture of them all. It was kind of cool to see. Like I mentioned this in my other video, I don't know if they were supposed to be there. I don't know if they will get removed, but I'm glad that they were there because it was a fun little surprise, fun little treat. So that's fun. Not far from West Quoddy Head Lighthouse is Campobello Island, which is, and I quote, no, I'm not quoting anything. What am I saying? It's in Canada, and So if you want to go to Canada, that's the easiest way to do it, perhaps. I don't know, you just cross a bridge and do the passport and they let you in. You can't do much on the island except for explore Roosevelt's Campobello International Park. That is his FDR, I believe it was FDR. His summer cottage was up there, and it's a museum now. You got to walk through it, and that was a fun time. See the property, see some history, because it's more or less in, it's history. It's a museum. It's how it looked back then. So it was cool to see like the wash basins in the bedroom, or the kitchens with the unique old-fashioned stove, or whatnot. It was quite interesting. We didn't do much on that island. We just did that tour and then we left. It was getting late. Honestly, it was harder to get back into the U.S. than it was to leave it. So I don't know, just a little more stressful. We had to wait in a longer line. And anyway, we got back into Maine, going back to Ellsworth, and I would say favorite thing, precipitous, the trail in the national park, but also West Quoddy. It was really cool to see. Campobello Island was cool. And then, again, I pointed this out in my other video, but a little bit further from Ellsworth, down south a little bit, or west, there is a place called Fort Knox and Penobscot Narrows Observatory. So you get to see an old-fashioned fortress that was built, I don't know, I want to say early 18th century, I don't remember for sure, but it's by the river, and it's kind of cool. The coolest part is to see the bridge. I really wanted to go up into the observatory because it's the tallest observatory in a bridge in the world. I don't know how many bridges even have observatories, quite frankly, but this one's fairly tall. It was up in the clouds / fog when we were there because it was a rainy day, so they told us if we went up, we wouldn't even have been able to see anything. So we didn't do that. That's my probably one regret. Anyway, Maine is a beautiful place. You get to see wild birds. We saw like turkeys and other hawks. I was looking for eagles. I didn't see an eagle, but in Ellsworth, there's a cool little bird sanctuary, and you can see some unique birds there. Overall, it was a great trip. It was pretty relaxing. We tried to balance doing interesting things with also having downtime where we could relax and just enjoy being on vacation away from work. So it was relaxing that way, and I appreciate that. We were going to do a boat tour, but that got canceled. That would be the first thing I would do if we go back to Maine. Make sure to do that, because that would be cool. You can see some wildlife on those kind of boat tours, whales and probably even birds and other things like that. So yeah, I think that about sums it up. Here's my picture of West Quoddy Head Lighthouse. Basically looks like a photograph, right? You can't even tell the difference. No, this is my first time using the iPad to draw / paint, and it was fun, I will say. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with the result. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions about Maine, if you're going to visit, or any recommendations for next time I go. I don't know. It's a beautiful state. I would recommend a vacation there, and go check out West Quoddy. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day. Remember to do things that you enjoy, and as always, remember to smile.